Dear Mursal, we are live. The floor is yours.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I'm Marcel Aryan, a fellow with the Skills Development Department at Women Ascension. Women Ascension is a global movement that empowers women to learn, lead, and create a positive impact. With experience in over 130 countries and 10 departments from STEAM to peace building, it provides a platform where women can grow, lead, and support each other. Through its 1 million leadership program 2030, Women Ascension aims to equip 1 million women and create with Women Ascension equipped 1 million women and youth with skills, confidence, and vision to become strong, inspiring leaders. Today's session is titled Bro- Bridging the Gender Digital Divide. We will explore how technology can empower women, improve access to digital tools, and create equal opportunities in digital world. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Mariam Shuyubu Aliu, a cybersecurity expert and woman essential mentor. She is the founder of Cyber Hijab VTech and works to empower women in technology. Ms. Mariam, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much for having me. And I always use this opportunity to thank Women Ascension. I think this is the third time I'm showing up here, and I want to say thank you for the opportunity and privilege. I will not take it for granted. Thank you so much. So, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, depending from where you're listening from. My name is Miriam Shraib Aliyu, a cybersecurity specialist, a mentor, and also an educator. As she said earlier, I'm the founder of Cyber Hijabi Tech. Cyber Hijabi Tech is a platform where we train women, most especially women from northern Nigeria, cybersecurity, and we also mentor them because this topic hits home, bridging the gender digital divide. When I started my cybersecurity journey, I was looking for a mentor who happens to be who I want to be a woman. So I checked everywhere, I searched everywhere, I could not find. All the people into cybersecurity are male. And for me, I want someone that we can have like a easy going. And I could not find, and my journey was so stressful. My journey was not easy, it was challenging. I end up like moving in cycle like an hamster because I had nowhere to hold. So that's the gender divide, the gender digital divide we have. It is happening everywhere. It's not in cybersecurity, not only in cybersecurity, we're talking about all the tech skills, whether in cybersecurity, data science, data analysis, or AI and the AI, all these tech skills, there's a gender divide. In Africa, we have in every parasite that is in the tech scale, the tech ecosystem, you see that we have less women in the space because women are not empowered to be able to come to the tech ecosystem. And that is one thing that I feel like with this presentation of mine, we can be able to see how we can like bridge that gender digital divide that is happening in Africa and the world at large. So when we talked about understanding the digital divide, there is access gap when it comes to having digital skill because we know 90% and 80% of women, we all mostly we focus on the kids, we focus on the house chores, we focus on a lot of things that we feel like we are meant to do. And when we are meant to do that, we have that access for us to be able to have the digital skill we are deprived from that. So according to statistics, we have 244 million fewer women than men globally that use the internet. A lot of women are out there. They don't know how to use the internet. A lot of women are out there. So this statistics was in 2023, and we are in 2025. And we know as time goes on, we are having a lot of population. People are coming up, like we are having a lot of young people. In statistics, we know the different, like the gender gap when it comes to the male and the female. We have a lot of female compared to male. So a lot of women don't have access, don't even know how to use the internet. And it not only in Africa, globally, it's happening globally. So these are the gender digital divide that we have that is happening globally. 244 million women don't have access to the internet compared to the men, because most of them have access to it. And that's why you see we have the disparity when it comes to women and men in the tech ecosystem. Because you can go to an organization now, when that organization happens to be a, let's say a tech, like say a fintech or a fintech, you see the men there are more than the women. Because why? A lot of women cannot, they don't know how to use the internet, not to talk on how to operate some certain software or applications they are supposed to carry out the day-to-day activities. So these are one of the reasons, and we're going to talk about the barriers that are preventing women from digital participation. As I said earlier, a lot of us, when it comes to Africa, I'm talking about Africa and Nigeria to be precise, and from Nigeria, I'm talking from the perspective of the northern Nigeria. When it comes to the north, a lot of girl child, as early as they are through with the secondary school, that's the college, they are about to like, okay, planning on how to get them married, how they can be able to get them married immediately after their college. And some of them are from poor backgrounds. They never knew anything about what the digital space is all about. So why this barrier? Why is what are preventing women from digital participation when we have affordability and access? A lot of people, a lot of women don't have access to the internet or to even the smartphone they can be able to use to be able to access the internet. And secondly, when it comes to digital skill deficit, in Africa, we have that deficit. A lot of women, due to their busy, or a lot of young girls, due to their busy, or maybe we all know how they say, okay, women are the ones that if you're a girl child, you need to be the one to do the house chores, you need to be the one to take care of your younger ones. So you don't have that access that a male child has. And this is what makes a lot of women are not being partisan, like they are not being partisan when it comes to the digital skill or the digital skill, the tech ecosystem. And I talked about social norms, and when we talked about social norms, sometimes there are norms that like prevent ladies, maybe especially on the age girl child, as I said earlier, in Nigeria, I'm talking about Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria, where a girl child, immediately she is through with her college, or what should they do is like let her get married and start a family. And a young lady that is starting a family, she don't have that time to say that, okay, let me see what is happening, what digital skills should I have, what should I get, and what should I get and what should I not do. And these are things that are preventing them to be partisan when it comes to the digital tech and the tech ecosystem. And then lastly, when we talked about funding, you see when it is a woman-led tech startup, she don't have, because I feel like those that are giving those funds, they feel like a male-led tech startup can take care of that money compared to a woman. That's why you see when they have, like, when they are giving out funds for startup, when they are funding or grants, you see out of 10%, you see it's only two out of, let's say, 10 people who happens to apply for a grant. You see is among the 10, the 8 will be male and only 2 female will get that grant. And you see, we all know, they say when you train a community, when you train a woman, it's like you're training a community. Educate a woman, you are educating a community. Just imagine if that woman happens to get more grants, if women happens to get more grant than male, we'll see that more women will start participating in the digital, will start getting a lot of tech skills. For example, I know of a tech woman-led tech startup that is helping women get cybersecurity knowledge all for free for 1 year. The Cyber Safe Foundation, we call them the Cyber Girls. This has been happening concurrently for more than 2 to 3 years. But this year, they could not do that due to what? Lack of funding. And 100%, like 100% of all the participants happens to be women from Africa. But now they cannot do that. So you see the drawback. You see what is like, we have seen the setback that we have gotten despite being in the 21st century. We're talking, we are like, we have developed in the 21st century, and we can't, a woman-led tech startup cannot get funding to train women to become digitally skilled in the cybersecurity ecosystem. So these are just few, and we have a lot. We have a lot of barriers that are preventing women from participating in the digital, right? So when it comes about what happens when women are not being drawn, like they bring women to start learning tech skills, learning digital skills. One thing is that it costs both, it has an economic and it has economic impact, to be sincere. 785 million unconnected women, we have them globally. They don't have knowledge access, nothing. Like they don't even, like what me and you are saying now, right now, they don't even know what is happening. They don't even know what is happening. They are just there. They don't know how to, when you show them a smartphone now, they don't know how to operate it. They don't even know what it is for. You just, like, they are just there in the world. And we have these just statistics. Let's say just statistics, maybe this 1/3 or quarter of the women that are not connected, that don't have access to anything. They don't have access to economic opportunity. They don't have access to knowledge. They don't have access to global communication like this that Women Ascension is doing. And when it comes to the economic impact, those women that are not being connected to the digital space or to the tech ecosystem, we are losing $1 trillion. We're losing $1 trillion. So you see how what we are losing. So there is like let's say there is a consequences when women are not being brought into the tech ecosystem or into the digital space. And these 785 million women. This one, when we talked about, it also like a deepening inequality. The inequality in the sense that we know we're not talking about equality whereby men and women have to get same thing, same that. No, we're talking about when let's talk about equity, sir. When we talk about equity, this 785 million women that are not on the cyberspace is like excluding them, which is weird, like the not being fair to them, like we're not being fair to them. The economy, the global leaders, everybody, they are not being fair to them. So you have to like give them what they want in order to thrive in the tech space. Because when we are talking about telemedicine, we're talking about telemedicine, yes. So let's say, for example, for instance, those women, 785 million women that don't have access to internet, and we have someone that is needing a medical response, and she cannot be able to do that due to it. She don't have access to the internet. She don't have access to a smartphone. There is something that is called for alarm, to be sincere. So they have cut them off from education. They have cut them off from healthcare. And that's why we have the rise of maternal mortality when it comes to women and child. So this is that. So we've talked about the problem. Like we've talked about the problem, why women, what are the barriers, what are the challenges, and what are the curses, like what's the economy lost when women are not on the cybers, when women are not digitally participant when it comes in this 21st century. Number one, what are the policies that would help in driving inclusion? How can we bring more women into the digital space? How can we bring more women into the digital space? So we're going to talk about any stakeholders that are in charge of policy. I normally tell people there's this word, like, if you're working, don't work for people. If you're working, work with the people. That's when it comes to community. So if he wants to work, if he wants to drive a policy that is going to make women more inclusive, we need to start, the stakeholders, the policymakers, we need to start working with the women, not for the women. Because someone where they said he that wears the shoe knows where it is. But we have seen a lot of we've seen so many policies that has been made. Those that are made for, they are not even part of those making that policy. That's why we're still where we are in this 21st century. Because if a lot of women are being in this policy making, they know why funds are not coming to them. They can share their grievances, and those making the policy will say, okay, we have seen this. So when sharing fund, they should be targeting more women that has women-led startup. They should be giving them more fund, and they should make them they should be the most prioritized set, so that they can be able to help other women. So, and when it comes to after giving the fund, we have a lot of policies that are not being fair when it comes to women-led startup. let's say, for example, when you have a startup, a tech hub that you want to train women or you want to train people, you need a lot of things in place that will help you to do that. But when government of that organization or of that state rather or that country is pushing a lot of fast to that startup, it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to cope with that situation. And we know you can't run a startup of tech hub without having physical devices like of laptop, internet, broadband. So they have to make things more easy when it is a woman-led tech startup. They have to make things easy for them, no, like make it very easy. And then when it comes to partnership, you see a lot of people don't want to partner with women. Before they feel like, no, we might call her today, she'll feel like, no, I cannot do it. Maybe she'll say she have, and most especially mostly they will say that they have distraction due to the kids that they have. Because I've gotten that, I've witnessed that. I got an interview, and after everything, after the interview, and the person was asking me, do you have any distraction? I was like, distraction? What's distraction? He said, do you have kids? I'm like, really? So the kids are the distraction? So sometimes when you want to have a partnership with other people, some male the male counterpart don't want to have partnership with the female counterpart because they feel like they have a lot of partnership, they have a lot of distractions. Maybe they have one or two things, stuff like that. Maybe the family, everything, the kids, the husband, the sisters, everything is on her shoulders, so she cannot deliver what they are expecting from her. And when we talk about the role of a digital literacy and skill, digital literacy, as I told people, you must not be like somebody that is coding, like it must not be the coding, being a software developer, being a cybersecurity ethical hacker or something like that. No. Just the core ability for you to be able to effectively evaluate and create or communicate information using digital platform. That's what we call digital literacy. But a lot of women, to be sincere, a lot of women, a lot of young girls can't do that. Not even those that are, we are not talking about the 785 million women. We also have a lot of women that have smartphone. Only what they know how to do with it is only just to make call, go through the TikTok, go through the reels, go to the social media, do one or two stuff, and that's all. They don't know how to evaluate or create some kind of things when it comes to that. So it is why we say that is very paramount for everybody. Like I say, we all have to come together to make sure that a those 900 those 780 something million women, we need to bring it down to the barest minimum. So this digital literacy, a lot of girls, I'm talking from a first hand. I was going through schools. October is Cyber Security Awareness Month, and I go to schools to create awareness on cybersecurity, on how to stay safe online, how to create strong password. But I felt 90%, 90% of those students that are in secondary schools, they are not digital literate. They are just there. They just have phone that they just make and receive call with. The basic the basic digital skills, they don't know about that. So the promising solution and the success stories. There are some global progress so far that I've gotten, but yet we have not reached the threshold that we deserve when it comes to the gender divide. We talked about the digital hub. In Nigeria right now, we have some digital hub here in Kano, in Katsina, in Jigawa, in Abuja, but there are some states that are yet to have a tech hub. That's the digital hub where you go learn skills, learn how to access the internet for local women entrepreneur. I mean, saw some people coming to do the program, and those that are coming to do the program, you feel a lot of women when it comes to participation. A lot of women are not participating because there is no safe space there. To be sincere. So these are just statistics. When we talked about real facts, when we talked about the real facts, we still have a very long way to go when it comes to how women will be inclusive in the digital space. So these are the centers. We have some centers that they're dedicated, but though few are led by women. Then when it comes to the Latin American, they have the STEM policies where I think the government implements, making sure that there's gender transformative education policy that is encouraging and funding high enrollment of women in STEM and technology. So we saw a lot of scholarship for women, a lot of scholarship for women to apply for STEM education. So when we come this Latin American, then Africa, we talked about the digital hub that a lot of government parastatals, stakeholders are building to bring in more women, but to be sincere, it's not enough. Then we have the mobile finance. That's in Asia. What Asia are doing is that they make sure that every platform that you're trying to make, like every platform or software you're trying to develop, you must make sure is mobile enabled, is mobile based, so that it can help enable women to manage their finances, save, and access credit easily. Because there's a difference between a smartphone and a laptop. You can easily operate your smartphone compared to your laptop. So in Asia, they make sure that every developer that is trying to develop anything, whether software or app or website, make sure it's mobile friendly. So then we talk about the tech innovation, startup thriving globally. So a lot of the tech innovation that's happening, I talked about the Cyber Safe Foundation earlier. They're trying to make sure that they train women, most especially women from Africa, to get a cybersecurity skill and thrive in the tech ecosystem. Then we have Tech for Dev. Tech for Dev is one that are also doing very fantastically well. They make sure that all their tech skills are for women. They have product design, product management, cybersecurity, data analysis, UI UX. They have like a lot of their skill, and it's basically for women. Then we have She Code Africa. She Code Africa to them to are more of giving more women access to the tech skills, making sure that more women comes to learn any tech skill they want to learn. But as I said earlier, these are global progress, but we still have a long way to go. These are success story, but we still have long way to go. And one good thing about Cyber Safe Foundation and She Code Africa, these are women-led startup that are doing fantastically well across Africa. So My call to action, what must be done now as we want to close that digital drive when it comes to that digital divide when it comes to women. We all know, to be sincere, each one of us that is here, we all know that our places of work, when it comes to the gender ratio, all of you will attest to that the male there are more than the female there. If what I'm saying is right, please let me see your emoji. All right. So thank you so much for that. So what right, because our work must be done now is fund transformative policy. We have to make sure that government, those in stakeholders, those policymakers must make sure that anything they are doing, any policy they are passing, must make sure that they prioritize women digital access and leadership. Women should be given access to lead because we all know when a woman lead, she lead with empathy, she lead with love to make sure that everybody is carried along. And secondly, we must make sure that we expand affordable access. To make sure that women have access when it comes to grants, comes to funding, women should be able to afford that. Women should be able to have that like privilege, easy access to be able to do that. And we have to make sure that we increase the scale of digital literacy for women, most especially women from low and middle income countries like we know Africa, the Middle East. We need to like scale it up. If they're doing, in case like someone decides to, okay, I want to sponsor one woman, you can decide to, okay, let's sponsor 5 to 6 women. So we have to track the progress. One thing about when things, policies, or when action like this are being carried, if we're not tracking if we're not tracking the progress with data, we feel like everything is going fine and good. Because a lot of us will feel like we're hearing that a lot of women are in tech, or a lot of women are in tech. Are we tracking the progress? Do we know the people, or is it those same people that has already been in tech that are still the ones we're using for our statistics? So we just have to make sure that we are following, like we're tracking the progress with facts, not fiction. So we have to foster women should be in the leadership position, as I said earlier. When a woman is educate a woman, educate the nation, educate the community. One woman, she's the one that when she gave birth, she's the one that is going to train that child. When she trained the child, if the child happens to be a good person, his friends benefit from that. But if reverse is the case, his friends are also going to like have that issue. So that's why it's very crucial to prioritize women's leadership. Give women the ability to hold tech roles like BCSO when it comes to, because in cybersecurity, when it comes to CISO, what we mean by CISO is Chief Information Security Officer. When you see 10 CISO, it's only one woman that is a CISO. The rest are male because they feel like she can't do it. But to be sincere, when we give them the chance, give them the opportunity, and a lot of time we have seen that when women be in leadership position, she tends to do very well. She tends to prove a lot of men that she can do, and that organization tend to thrive. So they should give women should be given the access to hold leadership position. Then one tree cannot make a forest. One person cannot do it alone. One person cannot achieve, as they said, Ubuntu. With you, I am. We have to come together to make sure that we close this gap. What are you doing in your various community as someone that is learning one tech skill? Maybe you're learning graphic design. What are you doing to those young girls? Or what are you doing to educate those young girls that are in your community? So we just have to come together to make sure that we play our own part in order to close the gap. We have to invest. Investment, you might feel like, oh, I don't have money, I cannot do it. It doesn't matter if you can invest your time. You've learned one skill, then you go back, you teach one or two things that are in your area. And secondly, we have to innovate. I normally tell people, when you want to innovate, you are not trying to develop a new WhatsApp. You're not trying to develop a new Facebook, something that will beat Facebook. No, just look within. Just look within. What are the problem or what are the things that your community are facing? You can innovate, bring a unique idea from that. Most especially what that is going to help women. We have AI. What can you use AI to do that can help women in their local community, that can help a girl child? So we have to innovate. You're not trying to like think outside the box to bring something powerful, the little things that we feel like they don't make sense, they are the things that make sense. They are the things that when you try to innovate it, is going to boom. I normally tell people, you see that problem you're facing in your community in Kenya, someone is facing that same problem in Ghana. Another woman is facing that same problem in Nigeria. So just think, what are those problems that women are facing, and make sure you develop develop what is going to make their life easy. And secondly, please, we need to make sure that we include women when it comes to making policy and implementation. For me, I feel like a lot of women will feel like, I would prefer to work with a male. I would prefer to work with a male compared to a female because she's not good to go. She's not She's not good to go. Some men are good to go. You can just call the man. I know. So if we start showing that disparity, we start showing that divide within the women. So how do we feel like the male are going to try to close that gap for us? So we have to do it ourselves. Is our problem, and we have to see how we can be able to leverage the male counterparts to close the digital divide. So when you empower a woman digitally, you unlock a future of shared prosperity, and limitless opportunity. I know a lot of us might be doing a tech skill, and you're trying to teach one or two of your kids. At least you were like, okay, you were helping the community in your own little way. So that's why I say when a woman is being educated, you are educating a community. So that's this and that's that. So we have to play our own path as much as possible. What wants to achieve, we can't achieve it if everyone is waiting for the other person to do it. We have to come together to make sure that this gender divide the gap is being closed. As I said earlier, when I started my journey into cybersecurity, I had nobody. It was a soft learning I was going through, and it was so challenging for me because there was no career path. I was learning everything, and I ended up not learning anything. And that challenge that I faced when I started my journey into cybersecurity, and when I got the aha moment, when the aha moment comes for me, I was like, okay, can I also break that? Because a lot of women are also going to go through this process that I went through when starting my journey into cybersecurity. And that's when we got Cyber Hijabi Tech. Cyber Hijabi Tech is one platform where we train women, most especially northern women. My focus was on northern women. Why? Because when it comes to education, to be sincere, we are the north. We are left behind. In the north of Nigeria, we are left behind. We're just starting to catch up. We are not like our counterpart in the south and in the east. They are way above us. So that's why we find it very difficult when you're trying to join the tech ecosystem as a woman from northern Nigeria. So, and that was the reason why I decided to, okay, let me birth Cyber Hijabi Tech. And Cyber Hijabi Tech, I've trained more than 100 women cybersecurity. And now I'm trying to catch the kids young. Sometimes the other women will feel like, I cannot do it. I don't want to do it because I feel like, okay, I'm old enough. What am I going to do with that? So I saw that challenge again. I said, okay, let me go start catching those kids young. We're going to schools now to go train teens with young girls cybersecurity, because a lot of them talk that cybersecurity is a male-dominated field. They don't need to do this. It's too technical. It's not for me. And I'm giving them that assurance that no, you can do it. If me, I can do it, you can also do it. So we have been going to schools and we have been seeing progress so far. And that's what each and every one of us have to do. That's your skill that you have learned. That's your tech skill that you have learned. Try as much as possible to pass it down. You might not know, you might think that you're just wasting, you might think that you're wasting your no, you are not. In the nearest future, you will see the benefit of what you have done. So we need to invest, innovate, and include women and young girls in everything that we are going to do henceforth. So thank you so much for listening, and happen to question and answers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing a very essential topic, which is really required for women as well as men. So, Miss uh, Moderator, can you please address the questions in the chat to the speaker? I guess she's having some technical difficulties, so I will take over. So, one of the candidate is asking, what are specific examples of successful gender-specific technology solutions that have been implemented in the real world to improve women's life in finance, education, and health?
You come again? Like I'm trying to locate the question. Is who asked the question?
It's by Miss Norman. I'll just tag you, ma'am, on the same.
Okay,
Yes.
what successful initiative or policy have helped close the gender digital divide? Is that?
Ma'am, it is what are the specific examples of successful gender specific technology solutions that have been implemented in the real world to improve women's lives in finance, education, or health? Am I audible, ma'am?
All right. Yes, yes, yes. Salman Norman, right. All right. So when it comes to that's a good question, Salma. So when we talked about those gender-specific technology solutions that have been implemented in real world to improve women's life in finance, education, and health, to be sincere, that's why I say we still have a long way to go. All the technology so far, they are not gender specific. Both male, female can access it. When we talked about telemedicine, some people say that telemedicine for women for to reduce maternal mortality. A lot of it's not like gender specific because you can be a male and you're feeling some kind of uncomfortableness and you can use that telemedicine. So for now, we don't have that. When it comes to education too, is both gender. We have the like of self-learning, self-paced learning for both women and men. Because the like of Udemy, the likes of Coursera is both gender. It's not gender specific. So we hope and we pray because with the advent of AI, maybe you can feel like, okay, we need a gender specific technology. Maybe a technology that is tracking the menstrual cycle of a girl, a technology that is going to track when you're having your ovulation, a technology when you're going to have your when you're pregnant, where are you going to give birth? We still need those technology, but they're not yet. I don't know. I've not heard of that yet, but I don't know whether is somewhere in the world or in the globe. But for me, in my own country, I've not heard of that yet. But we need a gender-specific technology like the one that would like help you count your menstrual cycle. No man can want to use that. No one can use it. No female gender can use that except a lady. Helping you track your ovulation is woman specific definition that can help women in real life, that can help them in their health sector. So I hope that answer your question, Solomon.
I guess she got her answer in a very concise and detailed way. So there's another question which I would like to ask, like, what steps can individuals take to support the digital inclusion in their communities?
What?
What steps can individuals take to support digital inclusion in their communities?
As I said earlier, the tech skill that you have learned, the tech skill that you learn, you know how to do graphic design, you know how to develop an app, you know how to use you're a cybersecurity specialist. Those young girls, sometimes you're just like, okay, I want to train these young girls. You have to and you know you're sacrificing your time. Sometimes it might lead you to even sacrificing some fund. Maybe you want to help the girls when when the girls are from low income background. Because one thing about this tech skill is it's not theoretical. It's something that is practical when you want to achieve what you want to achieve. It's something that is practical. So you just have to make sure that you sacrifice your time, and in some cases, you sacrifice your fund to help those from your local community, those girls from your local community. You don't need to come out and say, okay, you want to like train the whole people in the whole of, maybe you're from Pakistan or you're from India. You don't need to do that. You have to start from the grassroots. So with that, you are helping the community. You are helping to bridge that gender stereotype, like that gender digital gap. So we just have to start from our own community.
Yes, ma'am. Well answered. So there's another question by Ms. Chiamu. She is asking, how can we enable women to fight digital phobia?
All right. As I said earlier, a lot of women taught tech skill. When we talked about the digital skill, you must know how to code, you must know how to program, you must know how to do that. It's beyond that. When we talk about the digital skill is beyond that. If you can be able to use your laptop, connect on the internet, and be able to do a program management, just a program management, you are in the tech ecosystem. If you can be able to use your laptop, go to Google Sheets, be able to bring out some CRM, that's customer your CRM, or do some certain things with your Google Sheet, you're already on the tech ecosystem. Tech is not all about coding, programming, it's beyond that. And we even have AI now, artificial intelligence, that can you just know how to prompt it, know how to communicate with it. It will tell you everything, like it will give you an output that, like, it will not hallucinate for you. It will give you an output that will help you in your journey of any tech or any tech career you're trying to go into. So we need to start telling women, because a lot of them think that when you're talking about digital skill, it's programming. Why is beyond that? Or when you talk about digital skill is coding, is beyond that. For you to be able to do your business, call someone, okay, put that your business on Instagram, LinkedIn, and tell people you're selling, and somebody sees your business and tell you, yes, all right, I want to buy this, and you send the person your receipt you send the person the price, and the person send you the money, you show the person showed you your receipt, and you're able to will build that product the person buy from you, you're already in the tech ecosystem. So we need to start telling women that tech is beyond the coding and the programming that we initially we thought it was. Because a lot of us, before coming to the digital world, we thought it's not about programming, the 1 and 0, the binary. That's all what digital skill is all about. But it's not like that. So we need to start creating that awareness for women to know.
Justified, ma'am. So there's another question by the same candidate. Miss Salma. She's asking, in many cultures, social norms restrict women's mobility or their right to own private technology. How should app and platform designers work with local community leaders to create digital tools that are culturally relevant and overcome these deeply ingrained social barriers?
Yeah, as I said earlier, there are cultures, there are no social norms that are restricting women from that. And when we talk about one thing about this digital skill, technology skill, is that it is a two side of the sword. It has its advantage and it has its disadvantage. And why a lot of community are not like a lot of some parents from some a lot of community, because I'm from one of those community that restrict women to own a private technology, either smartphone or laptop, because a lot of time this teen or the girl child goes to see one or TikTok video, which sometimes a lot of our teen learn a lot from that, and they feel like no, they don't need to have the private technology. They need to have like a one thing everybody come there use, and you don't have the access to see something privately is happening. So one thing that I would say is work with the community. Work with the community in the sense that the community leaders, in the sense that a girl, what just tell them this what you want to do with your technology. You're not going to Reels, you're not going to Instagram, you're not going to um Snapchat to go see unnecessary things there. And I feel that as well we have the cloud server where you can get your own space in the cloud, where you come do what you want to do and go there. It's not your own, it's a shared responsibility that happens there. Just you do your thing and go. But I feel like this is very critical. It's something that the government needs to come into play. The stakeholders need to come into play. The parent needs to come into play to make sure that when they are putting platforms on the app, on the phone, on the technology, they are able to restrict some things for the kids or the teens not to have access to. Like if you take, for example, Saudi Arabia, if you have a WhatsApp, you can only make text message, but you cannot make a call. WhatsApp call, it doesn't work in Saudi Arabia because that means restricted. I think likewise, is it Qatar or Oman? So they have to work with the community and the government to make sure that those technology that is because of is either Instagram, TikTok, or Snapchat that is making the women not to have the private phone. So we just have to make sure they work with the community to make sure that all these apps that they feel like is making the kid go astray, they have to be restricted in that community. And then they should learn the necessary things that they need to learn. I hope that answer your question, Salma.
Yes, ma'am. I guess it is well answered in a very structured way. And since we are almost off the time, I would just, before going forward for the vote of thanks, I would like you to share a message, a last message based upon this session, which you would like to share with our participants.
All right. So, as I said earlier, we need to start from where we are. You don't need a sophisticated techno phone device for you to start to learn your tech skill. As I said earlier, I started learning surface. That's how I started, and it was curiosity that makes me, because I was a teacher, and what I was like the salary was nothing to write home about, because we feel like as a woman, all you want to do just go and teach, come back to your kids, and that's all. But I feel like, okay, I can do more than teaching. I still teach though, more than teaching, and that's when I started learning cybersecurity. And to be sincere, cybersecurity, when it comes to tech skill, cybersecurity is the most sophisticated tech skill that you can learn, because it's so technical. It has a lot of niches. It has numerous niches, and as you're learning it, it feels like you're not learning. So it's a continuous learning. So if I can learn cybersecurity, I feel like every other woman in the world, every other girl on this earth can learn any tech skill. So just start from where you are. If you don't have a community, because I normally tell people, when you're trying to learn any tech skills, make sure you get your 3 C's right. Make sure you get your clarity, get your consistency, and get your community. Because when you get your community, just like Women Ascension, one community that if you want to go far, you want to go fast, you get a community, they bring in opportunity for you to come learn a lot of things, up from digital skill to, like, I think almost all the SDGs, if not all, almost all of them. You come here, you learn it. Get your community, get your clarity. Which of the tech skill do you want to learn? You can learn any tech skill. Just find out what aspects that is not on tech that you are more, that you can do, and you just align it. You have to just transfer it to the tech skill. If you know how to draw, you know how to like draw, you can go into UI/UX. You can go into UIS. If you're creative, you have a very you are very creative. You can go into graphic design. If you know how to talk, you know how to code, you know how to, like, you know mathematics very well, you can come to cybersecurity. If you know how to manage people, you know how to sell product, you can go to product management. So these are the things. Just get your clarity right and get your consistency. I tell people, consistency over intensity. When you want to start, don't start with intensity, please. Just start small. As time goes on, you become consistent. But when you start with intensity, you get burnt out. And when you get burnt out, you give up. So just make sure that you get these electricities right, and the sky is not just your limit. The sky is your starting point. So thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate your time. And thank you for the opportunity to share my 2 cents with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your time from a busy schedule and explaining in a very tiny time with a very strong and powerful voice and message that we should start with whatever we have and maintaining the 3 C's, that is clarity, consistency, and community. And I really liked the fact that you have involved the community factor, because we learn from them and we also give to them. So thank you a lot, ma'am, for sharing your insights, and we are really grateful for you for the same. And we'll surely let us have a future session dive into the cyber safety concept from your side in near future by our team. We'll reach out to you soon, and I would also thank the moderator and the participants for having a very practical, real life based questions for the session, and we all are really grateful, and I am really grateful on behalf of whole Women Ascension for sharing this insightful and sowing the seed of digital literacy in women specifically. Thank you a lot, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to Miss the moderator. She left. All right, I think she has a network problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.